welcome back to the Conspiracy Corner. It's been a week. We've been out there looking for stuff to study, and we hope you enjoy the ride tonight. Nikki B, how's it going, brother?
Hey, bro, how's it?
Man, dude, I'm hanging like a couple of loose nuts on a hot summer day, I guess you could say.
Peanuts, get your peanuts here.
That's good, I guess, right? How's your week been?
Oh, man, it was long. I know we were busy. We weren't able to communicate with each other a lot, but got a lot done. It was pretty productive, both with the family. We had a birthday. My son, Charlie, he just turned 17. He's the baby,
right.
the baby boy. A lot of progress on the rebranding. We'll be coming out with that probably in about another week or two with a whole new look to the brand. And I've been interviewing people, getting interviews lined up for you and I. Just been working on a lot of stuff, man. How about you, brother? How was your week?
Oh, that's awesome. Mine was great, man. I got to spend a lot of time with my son, and
it's always good.
Get some work done, and I'm getting ready to move, as you know, so I've been packing up the house and stuff like that, too. So I got a lot done, man. It's been a great week.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to get into your new place, man. I hate moving. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that one day I'll make enough to where I can hire movers, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be nice, man, because I'll tell you what, if I have to move from where I'm at now, I'm dreading it, man. I am dreading it. I got so much stuff. It's like I feel like a hoarder. I don't know.
See, that's the time you want to hire movers.
Yeah. Well, man, tonight's a banging show, dude. We've been talking about this for years. Weather manipulation, ChemTrails, HARP, LARGE. For y'all that don't know, LARGE is a branch of NASA in Langley that deals with aerosols. See that plane behind my head right here? I'll move a little bit. See those little like fireworks that are coming out from the back of it? Those are what disperses aerosols in the sky when these planes are up there. Yeah, it's not their exhaust, so to say, as we've been told all the time. These were actually aerosols and aluminums and things of that sort that are spread into the air. And we got lots and lots of documents. We're going to link stuff. If you don't believe us, we're going to have links to government papers that you can actually go find yourself and do the research. And like we always say, find your own truths. But hopefully we expand and open some minds tonight. And with that said, Nikki, you want to lightly touch on anything?
Oh, I'm excited to cover this because I just got to put this out there. I was watching another show on YouTube. I'm not going to say any names because I'm really not trying to hate on the guy's show. But one of his guests was, what was that guy's name? I think it's Joe. Okay, so this dude, Bob Lazar,
right?
He's like this UFO guy. Says he's had contact or whatever, firsthand experience.
Sure, he's a big name in the UFO community.
Right. So I see him on this dude's show, and he's telling me in the same mouthful that the chemtrails are nothing more than the planes releasing condensation that's built up in their fuel tanks. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants me to believe that that's really what's coming out of there. And at the same time, he's going to tell me about some UFO encounters he had.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hey, so basically what you're saying is he's wanting you to believe that he's been probed in the butt, but airplanes are just releasing condensation buildup.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to go with ours because we have the proof and we have the names of the committees and the names of the projects that have been involved with this since the mid 1940s. And it goes as far back as 1849 when this all first started. I don't know how familiar you are with this, but in 1841, James Pollard Espy, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied like you a little tonight. Right. James Pollard Espy is also known as the Storm King, okay? He was a U.S. Meteorologist who proposed, this is what he did, and I kind of found this ironic. His proposal to the government was that we burn the forests on the west coast of the United States to promote the increase of rainfall on the East Coast.
Wow.
Okay. So this guy, he was also a part of the British Royal Society of Sciences. His theory for the philosophy of storms was published in 1840. So the reason I bring him up is because he's known as the Storm King, yes?
Right.
All right. He was a U.S. meteorologist in the mid-1800s. And his theory, which was published, was to burn forests on the West Coast to promote rainfall on the East Coast. Now, these are the people they say that have paved the way, the intelligent minds. This is the junk, you know what I mean, that is fed to us. Now, yes, this guy was a great mind, and yeah, I mean, okay, you can have theories, but it's like everything is just a theory. It's your theory. It doesn't mean that it's a truth. But,
right,
you know, so that's why I wanted to start with that, is I just found it so interesting. And if you want to take it back even a little further, or take it back further, come up a little from the 1840s into the 1890s, this is where we really started tampering with sending balloons up and trying to manipulate clouds to get them to rain. It's another thing I found while I was researching. Frank Melbourne, who was called the Ohio Rain Wizard, was invited to a state fair, okay? And it was said that on the last day of the fair, he was contracted to make it rain, to produce a heavy rain for the people. And the governor at the time was promoting this. You know, they wanted him to prove this, to show the people that this type of thing was possible. So as far back as the late 1800s, we see this kind of thing going on, okay?
Right.
Then as time moves on, 1902 goes by, where we saw the Steiger Vortex rainmaking gun. 1905 rolls up on us, and Charles Mallory Hatfield created the moisture accelerator to make rain for LA and floods in San Diego so they could get water. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Then fast forward a little to 1911. This is going to be a name that most people should be familiar with, is Post. C.W. Post. Yes, the same Post of Post cereals. He was the cereal czar back in 1911. He was from Texas. All right. His nickname was the Rainmaker. And he maintained a belief that the concussion method of disrupting clouds would make it rain. Now, how true this is, no one knows. But he spent 1911 and 1914 in what they called the rain battles near Post City. Ironically, a city named after him as well. That's how influential he was, right. Texas, where they would detonate dynamite Okay. And supposedly every now and then it would have the occasional rainfall. But where I'm going with this is they were trying to make it rain, trying to control the rain. And he truly had a vested interest in this, because what do you make cereals with? Oats, barley, bran.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he had fields in Texas of this, and if it was a drought season, he was trying to look for a way to create rain as far back as 1911. Okay, so I just wanted to I just wanted to lay a little bit of that out there for the people, and so they had an understanding that pluviculture, which is basically the definition for pluviculture, is the creation of rain that is artificial, basically artificial rain. And we've been trying to do this since the mid 1800s. All right. Now that advanced us up into cloud seeding. And now cloud seeding has been going on forever. And I know you know about this because we talked about it at length.
Yeah, we did.
About the Vietnam War.
Right.
And how there's even papers, and you know this for a fact too, that they were seeding the clouds over there to force it to rain for days, weeks at a time, to flood out all of the trails or roads that were used to get munitions, food, and supplies to the Vietnamese.
Right.
But it kind of backfired too, because a lot of our troops were getting sick, malaria. They were getting foot rot, where their skin was basically falling off their feet because it has stayed wet 24/7. Right. And this probably was the first instance of us actually using weather manipulation in a war. Now, I didn't get to, there's so much out there. I didn't get to really delve deep into if it was used in anything previous to Vietnam, war-wise, or to hurt people. But I do know that for a fact, the cloud seeding has been going on since about the early 1940s with success. Okay? And here's one that really blew my mind, because, and you stop me anytime, Nick, if you want to say something. But
sure.
You and I also talked about Project Cyrus, which you can look that up online. Anyone can. And this was basically, it was started on October 13th, 1947. And it was the first hurricane cloud seeding experiment. The U.S. Army, Navy, Weather Bureau, along with GE, General Electric, scientists, they seeded the first tropical storm with 180 pounds of dry ice dropped by an aircraft. Okay?
Holy smoke.
The Cape Sable hurricane was formed. It abruptly changed color and direction, almost 120 degrees, and slammed into Savannah, Georgia, causing 1 death and $3.2 million in damage. This was in 1947. Okay.
Wow.
Now, because we've heard, and why I wanted to bring that up is because we've heard also that hurricanes, the most recent ones, how big they are and how much devastation and damage they're doing. And are these being seeded as well? Because on the same note that we can control them in 1947 and seed them, you bring it to 2019, we're able to detract them off course. So why wouldn't we push them off course? If they're on course for New York, why wouldn't we do everything in our power to make it go back out to sea? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And if they're able to do that, how come they don't deter the tornadoes either?
Exactly right, and that's what we'll touch more base on that, or we'll get into that a little bit more too. And here we are talking about this, and when you and I have been in public, and we'll talk about it, we'll bring it up to people because they'll bring something up, and we'll be like, weather manipulation, chemtrails. They're like, y'all are crazy. There's no such thing. Really?
Right.
Oh, okay. Do a little research, my friend, because if you're going to believe in global warming, then you best believe that there's weather modification and chemtrails going on. Because if there truly is a global warming going on, it's not because the way that man's living. It's Pandora's box that is open, and we're trying to control things that are out of our control.
I agree with that completely. I mean, there are organizations in other parts of the globe that right now have spoken openly about what they are doing as far as weather manipulation.
Absolutely.
Now, listen to this. In Dubai, of all places, that place is supposed to have that's like the most awesome beach place ever, right?
Right. Created by man.
Great climate. Great climate. And they do tons of this over there. They've actually, I think, gone back old school using weather balloons to launch their projects. And they're doing it right now. So let's just say, hypothetically, a company like this or an organization is doing this over in Dubai. They screw something up, and all of a sudden Alaska starts getting monsoons. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly what's happening, is we're trying to affect weather in one place, and it's having an impact somewhere else across the world in another place. Yeah, I mean, these kind of projects and things have been going on. NATO's even come forward, and said, hey guys, we better stop some of this weather and climate modification because, it's starting to cause a lot of issues in places where we didn't think that it was. And I'm going to just name a few things. I'm going to ramble these off, and I'll put at the end of this show on YouTube and on Facebook, I'll list some things you can look up if you're interested in finding out about them. 1952 and 1954, Project Scud was conducted by the U.S. Navy, and it was all about hurricane modification. You can actually see the actual book in presentation. It's available online. Project Skyfire. Now, this was one that was supposed to help us. It was going to be used for preventing forest fires by cloud seeding, by creating torrential rains. Okay, this was worked on from 1956 to 1957. Okay, they called it the Project Skyfire. It's a cloud seeding generator. All right, that's one that people can look up. Okay, here's another one, and this one was in the newspaper. This actually made the Toledo newspaper. U.S. Navy creates and destroys clouds using carbon black, 1958. All right. The National Hail Creation Research Experiment, 1959 to 1981, that went on. And they did this in North, South Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Colorado. Project Skywater was an here I go again. It was an atmospheric water resources management project. And these just go on and on and on, all the way on up to 1961, when our great President Kennedy addressed the United Nations on weather modification. Okay. He actually, went in front of NATO and addressed them. He said, and I remember, I'm not going to quote him, but I know that he was said, if the Soviets can control space, they can control Earth. All right. And they were more worried back then, more than weather modification, they were worried about electronic magnetic pulse, EMP.
Right.
One EMP could take out a city, a state, a country, and you'll be crippled to your knees.
Right.
But you know, he said that we have to catch up with cooperative efforts between all nations and put our heads together and pool our information, not only with weather prediction, but with weather control. And this was stated by the guy that we all loved, John F. Kennedy. He knew it.
Right.
He knew what was going on, you know? And what is funny about that is I'm going to rewind back to Post, okay? Because Post was noted as saying, after he got done talking about, you know, all his stuff, he said that one day we will see where weather manipulation is used to water our crops instead of irrigation. This was a man in 1911, very intelligent. Like I said, he was very influential, wealthy, town named after him, everything else. Throwing dynamite in the sky, trying to make it rain. He predicted in 1911 that one day weather manipulation would be used to water our crops instead of irrigation. But he was trying to think in a positive light, do it for the good of the people. It's used in the opposite. You understand?
Yeah, I do. I don't think I still think, was he doing it for the good of all or for the good of him?
Well, that's the thing. Was he doing it because he didn't want his pockets and his family's pockets to stop being lined with all that money? Or was he actually thinking about the people? We don't know. But, you know, that's for you or for somebody else to do their own research and maybe just do nothing but a research on that gentleman. But then, you know, we'll come back into the late 60s, pushing into the 70s, 69, where Lyndon B. Johnson, you know, he's talking. He approved weather warfare. Hello, Vietnam.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm
Right.
saying I think that Vietnam, when we talked, was probably the first place that we actually saw it being used in warfare. You know, and on and on. In 72, the National Cumulus Modification Project. In 65, the Weather and Climate Modification Bureau was created and then they did a report of the special commissions on weather modification and how to use it. You know, and it's on and on. All this information is out there for people to see. Operation Popeye, you know, Operation Motorpool. I mean, it's just on and on. CIA project, Nile Blue. You know, when they were trying to make it rain forever on the Cuban sugar crops because we were mad at Cuba, you know. You know, and it just goes on, and people are like, there's no such thing as weather modification. But it's right here in your face. And if we were doing this like that in the 70s against countries, you know, and using it in war,
you're right.
You know, why aren't we doing it today? And then here's the one that really gets me, is it's the beginning, the very first time we saw what we call chemtrail type devices being used on planes was 1974, when they would go to the eye of a hurricane and then they would release in these planes. And I'll show the documents. I'll post them up here or over here during the show. And these planes are releasing carbon black dust into the eye of the hurricane to change. You see, to change, to disperse it, or to make it stronger, to make it weaker. And this was in 76. You know?
That was our government doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They had some kamikaze pilots, didn't they?
Well, I mean, I think,
but you know,
I think you can go into the eye of a hurricane pretty safe. It's pretty calm inside of it. I don't know. But again,
well, I don't want to find out. I'm sure there's some rough spots going in or coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. And
but
then,
here's the thing too.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Think about this. Who do you think is paying for this? When people see, I'm not going to mention any names, but an ex-vice president going around with his wife talking about how we are destroying the ozone and we are causing climate change, and you donate to him, do you really think that money is going to a cause that does things to fight climate change or create climate change?
Right. It's creating it. It's not preventing it.
Exactly.
And
he's up there with smoke and mirrors, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's why, and I'm glad you brought that up because that was my next thing. The smoke and mirrors started in about 1980. On the in the media, NBC ran a special, and it was called "Clouded Judgment: Jet Contrails. Do jet contrails increase cloud cover?" All right. So they started back as early as 1980 trying to do this cover up and make people, what do I say? They always mold your mind to what they want you to believe. So starting in the 80s, when they probably started figuring, well, man, a lot of people are going to start seeing this stuff in the skies. We better go ahead and try and, get the sheep back herded together and their heads down on the ground. So let's run a special with John Chancellor on NBC News.
Right.
And, there, so you have it. And then in 82, that's when the whole acid rain thing started coming about. That's funny. Yeah. We've only been messing with the clouds for the last 100 years, since the 1840s, 1890s on a serious side. And, right. You think we're going to have some acid rain now? Maybe. But then that was just considered a conspiracy theory. There's no acid rain. No problems here. Move along.
Well, I'll tell you, throughout my childhood and part of my adult life, I was very, very close to military bases my entire, like Air Force Base, Naval Base, Marine Corps Base. we always lived off post, but really close, like planes and helicopters were an all day, all night event every single day.
Right.
And I do not remember seeing anything more than the smoke from them taking off. The jets flying through the air. Mm-hmm. Once they turn those afterburners on, there's no more trail, and that trail dissipates very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's gone immediately. And we talked about that. As the planes go, yeah, within seconds, you see the smoke or whatever it's creating, the condensation, slowly disappear.
Yeah.
Not with chemtrails. It'll slow for hours and hours and hours.
Hours, like the whole day, dude.
Yeah.
Like the whole day. And what's crazy too is recently where I live, like I would drive the same route daily, like 5 days a week. And at the same time, every evening, I would see chemtrails in the same spot. And a few times I actually witnessed the plane laying the chemtrail. But it's just crazy, man. We're not talking about like one or two planes making zigzags across the sky. We're talking about, a dozen planes going in one direction and they're each crossing each other's paths. These chemtrails are blatantly obvious,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you ask somebody, oh, well, it's just this. Oh, really? So you mean to tell me the upper atmospheric pressure didn't push the moisture that the planes were releasing from their fuel tanks, didn't push it to the ground until like 8 hours later? Come on. Really?
Right.
Come on. Even I know a chopstick's not a back scratcher. You know what I mean?
I love that term. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And it was funny that you bring up the military bases and growing up near them. I actually grew up on them. traveling all across the country. And this is how innocent we were back then, and just how naive. They used to have those trucks that would come through the neighborhood shooting out the smoke in the back that was supposed to kill the bugs. Remember, that's what you were told they were. Oh, here comes the fumigators, they're coming down, and all the kids are riding on their bike, and we're running, and we're skateboarding, and we're chasing these things, just inhaling and engulfing these fumes. And Lord knows what it really was. Was it to calm and kill bugs or the mosquitoes for the summer? Or, I mean, were they putting something in the air? We don't know, but I just know we were so naive, you know, and the parents were out there smoking their cigarettes, holding the babies, watching us go, oh, look at them kids. They're so cute. They're chasing that, oh, damn bug sprayer truck. You know, and you know, and then we wonder why the next day, you know, Timmy's looking cross-eyed and I've got a hangover and I'm 12 years old. And I'm like, well, I don't know. You know?
I think it's a fair assumption to say that it probably started out genuine, you know, to get rid of mosquitoes and things, but then was later seen as a vehicle.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, we're just going to throw this in there. Nobody will know.
Yeah, no, they won't know. We'll still spray for bugs. We're going to add a little, I don't know, maybe some aluminum to it, maybe a little copper. Hell, why don't we just figure out a way to fumigate fluoride? We've been telling the people that fluoride in their drinking water and their toothpaste is good for them. Come to find out, small doses of fluoride over several years, decades, will make a man impotent and not able to procreate.
Right? It's like that. Aaron Brockovich story. You know, remember that town? All the people were getting deathly ill and everything.
Yeah, dying of cancer and getting sick and leukemia and you know, nothing to see here, guys. The water's perfectly fine. Keep drinking it, shower in it. You guys are fine. There's nothing leaking here. There's no open containers just floating in the river or being buried in your dirt.
Yeah, I think that was all traced back to like some major corporations not dealing with their waste products a proper way.
Right.
But I mean, come on, it's not like there's not like EPA, for example, and not to mention the rest of the federal levels of that, but state and local county laws. Like, people knew about this. How do you not know about it? And for that length of time, you know what I mean? Like, okay, somebody accidentally, a barrel fell in. Okay, we're going to contain this. We're going to deal with it. That's fine. Maybe we should broadcast it to everybody, let everybody know. But no, let's just look the other way and let it go on for years and years and years.
Right. Yeah.
Same thing, you know, a vehicle, it's like they would put a stop sign in until 10 people die there, you know?
Well, that's like they say when you go through New Jersey, man, the concrete's glowing, bro, because they were putting waste in that stuff and pouring the concrete for years over there. It's like, hey, don't bust my balls over here. We're going to go ahead and hide this in the concrete, mix it up, boom, bada bang. We're going to lay down the asphalt. Hey, holy shit, Joey, it's glowing over here. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like none the wiser. Just keep moving, man. We're just going to pollute, you know, let it affect the people 30, 40 years from now. We're not going to worry about it. Let's make our money and move on. Move along, folks. Nothing to see here.
Right, exactly. Well, hey, like you and Chuck, you guys did the Area 51 deal, right?
Yeah, we were there for.
I was like, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, we did that, and then we did the Roswell anniversary.
Okay, now, am I wrong? Isn't there like somewhere near there where they were like the people were actually having like deformed kids, deformed babies and things? I mean, I'm talking like wrong turn kind of stuff.
Well, there's certain towns, yes and no. I mean, and I don't want to get into that without the proper research, but yes, I have heard of that. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on around Area 51. I mean, you got S1, S2, you've got Dulce, New Mexico, you got Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, all these things are going on over there, and they're all, you know, they're paranormal, ufology. I mean, weird things.
Well, yeah, and I wasn't trying to get into it on that level. I was just saying, they did nuclear stuff out there.
Absolutely,
and so
nuclear
now,
fallout, right?
Right, but then they put out the claim that people were safe from that, but then there were certain towns where people were having a high rate of deformity birth.
Right, and I think that was more radioactive, as in not nuclear, because actually nuclear. I watched a few things about nuclear reactors, and there's an engineer scientist that actually went on a show, and I think he even spoke with Owen Benjamin, and this guy basically would go and swim in the nuclear reactor pools where they're cooling these off.
What?
Yeah, and he said, "Oh," he would say, "You can't get sick from them. They can't do nothing to you." No, he goes, he would swim in them, and I have to find that. We might have to even do a little special on that.
So, like, what happened to him? He lived happily ever after for like 30 years until he grew a third testicle, or what? I mean, what happened to this guy?
No, he's still alive, as far as I know, unless he's died recently, or maybe he has passed on, but it wasn't from cancer.
Right.
So, radioactive fallout, maybe coming from something else. Yeah, possibly. Metals are highly toxic, some metals.
Right.
And we'll get into that too. I mean, we'll talk a little bit on that later. But back on track with the weather modification portion, I wanted to touch on this one because this one's kind of more recent. And you can actually look this up, folks. Our great Congress passed it. In 2002, Congress authorized funding the WDMP, which is the Weather Damage Modification Program. And that it would be overseen by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, of all bureaus. And basically, what they created this to basically fund, I guess, and research using weather modification as a weapon. So, it's crazy. I mean, and I wanted to bring that up because that's recent. That was just here in the early 2000s. And, if you want to look it up, folks, it's called the Weather Modification Research and Development Policy Authorization Act of 2005. And you can check that out. It's there. Then in 2000,
interesting site.
Yeah, 2008, the Department of Homeland Security Hurricane Modification Workshop was held. Okay, and they were talking about either making a hurricane stronger or weaker. And this took place February 6th and 7th, 2008, at the David Skaggs Research Center. Look it up. Check it out. The Chinese were caught in 2008 modifying the weather for the Beijing Olympics. It's noted. It's documented. Check it out. And this is another one too I thought was funny. Department of Homeland Security also created a program called HAMP, HAMP, which was a hurricane, aerosol, and microphysics program. Okay, they try to say, now look, let me ask you a question. Why would you put the words aerosol and microphysics if you're going to tell the people you're creating this program to be able to forecast hurricanes earlier and better? I don't know. I'm just saying, to me, when I hear the word aerosol, it has nothing to do with me being able to forecast if a hurricane's coming or not. To me, it sounds like they're going to put something in it to seed it, to weaken it or strengthen it. All right. Then
that's their way of dispersing of it.
Right. And then what was funny is immediately after that, a month later, the United Nations was called together, and they're warning everybody, all the other countries, against large-scale weather modification and what its effects are across the world. It's like, guys, we do not have sound scientific info on this. We're doing some dramatic things with the weather that it can affect us in ways we don't know. We need to take a step back. Now, did we? I don't know. That was 2010. Look at the weather and what's going on around the world. You tell me.
Right.
And like I told you, these dates and these programs and these agencies and these bureaus, they just pop up year after year after year. I mean, you have the ChemTrails Serious Cloud Seeding and Thinning from 2015, Rogue Engineering, Geoengineering by the CIA, 2015. And then get this one. This is a really good one, folks. U.S. patent number 9518965B2 is, you guessed it, a fuel system for a vapor trail control that you can attach to any military airplane.
Imagine that.
Oh, I don't know. Imagine that. Go look it up, people. Feed your head. Come on, common sense. It's there. It's happening. You know, and Nick, it goes on, brother. You know this. I mean, we could talk to her blue, purple in the face. You know, there's a company right now, and it's not even a part of the government. It's called the Climate Global Control Trading, LLC. And guess what it does? Guess what it does?
What?
It creates and it steers hurricanes with ionospheric technology. Okay. Look it up, folks. And some of the most recent stuff is happening over in the Middle East. Right now, the United Arab Emirates, they're using drones to electrically seed clouds. They've been caught in video, and now the chemtrails are getting more and more prevalent over there. And Iran was in the news. Their chancellor or president or whoever speaks for him came on and was accusing Israel of cloud seeding in Iran, and not only that, for stealing their clouds, cloud theft. But we're crazy.
Right.
And I'm going to end it with this one. The most recent one that I know that I did research was the USDA sprays electrified water over Texas, and they're caught doing it. And for what? What reason did they do that in 2017? The Aerial Application Technology Research, Agriculture and Engineering Division of Texas used an electrostatic sprayer, insecticide, pesticide, to spray tap water above cumulus clouds in order to induce rainfall during their drought.
That's heavy duty.
Okay. I'm just saying, but we're not, we can't control or manipulate weather. I don't know. And
yeah, that's just mind blowing.
Yeah. You know, and what were you talking about last week when we were talking? Because, you know, when you were back home in Cali.
Oh man, are you talking about the fires?
Yeah, and I'm taking it there, people, because I know you call us crazy, say what you want, but there is video footage and there's pictures, and even my friend, longtime friend, Nikki B, he witnessed, he saw firsthand acknowledgement. Our brother from another mother, Cali Rob, in California right now, sees it, knows what's going on. Eyes are wide open. Now, while these fires might have happened naturally, they were controlled, they were fed, and they were made to last longer than they really should have.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'll let you talk on that one. You know,
and you gotta think too, man. the San Bernardino fires happen like every other year.
Right.
You know, I mean, and two, there was a time I was in Arizona. I lived in northern Arizona up on the Mogollon Rim. And we had like 3 fires going at one time. There was like the Rodeo Sky fire, the Rim fire. There was 3 different fires going at one time. And they all started like miles and miles away. Now, it's not unheard of for wildfires to start, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, literally overnight, it's like my playground. I lived up in the woods, man, up on the Rim. I mean, clean air, pine trees everywhere you look, thick forest, you know, fishing spots everywhere. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
And all this was like literally destroyed overnight. Now, one of the 3 fires, I guess, was a firefighter, a forest firefighter who was out of work and wanted to work, and supposedly he started the fire. And one of the other ones was a woman that was lost in the woods, started the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the third one, and I really don't know if, I guess we don't know. It's just like anything else. Maybe it's a conspiracy. I don't know. But we really don't know if these people really did start those fires, or were they just the patsy for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
See where I'm going with it? If there was weather manipulation involved in there. Because if you think of the amount of forestry that we actually have in this nation versus the amount of forest fires naturally occurring,
Mm-hmm.
they seem to keep happening in the same areas. I'm laughing a little bit, not at the fires, but just the fact that they keep happening in the same areas time and time and time again. But most of the other areas are pretty much untouched unless it's by man's act of carelessness or something that these fires start. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then going back to what you started this topic off with, the ones up in Northern California last year, I mean, photograph evidence, video evidence, and a lot of news stations actually covered this as well, was the fact that there were like solid lines where the fire just stopped, like a house completely burned on one half, but I mean a clear line where the fire stopped and nothing else was burned. And that's pretty much unheard of as well.
Right. Yeah, I saw that, dude. I saw the picture of that house. They showed it on TV. What was weird is they showed like a half of a garbage can, a half of a car, a half of a house, and the fire just stopped there. It was almost like a beam came down and was like, zzz, just cut right on, made a line up there, and they're like, "Oh, whoops, Dave, I think you're off by 13 degrees. You need to move more." He's like, "Oh crap!
Yeah, right.
You just took out a part of a neighborhood, Dave. Let's try and cover this one up."
Yeah. Guy spilled his coffee, accidentally hit the button. I don't know what happened, but something's not right there. I mean, a straight line like that from a fire, I don't think I've ever heard of it before, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't know what caused that cut. That would be a different show. But
no, it ties in.
Man-made.
It ties in to the weather manipulation. I mean, if to me, brother, what do you think? If they're gonna try and chemtrail us with aerosols and aluminums and all this other stuff, and then they're shooting down beams or electrifying clouds with electricity, you better believe your ass they got the technology to create a fire.
Right.
You know, and it all ties together. That would be part of the weaponization of it.
That's pretty heavy duty, and it's pretty dangerous, and I'm not in favor of any of this topic from tonight, but it is out there, it is real, and it does exist, and we do need to be somewhat mindful of it. I mean, at least aware of it.
Yeah, I know. All right, folks, and with that, we're going to stop it here for this week. Part 1. You're going to have to come back next week for part 2. Nikki and I will continue and close out with geoengineering and lower Earth orbit and upper atmosphere space weather control. And as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we especially appreciate you guys checking us out and staying faithful. So remember, subscribe, share, like, and hit that bell notification.
That's right.
Nikki, as always, brother, it was a pleasure. And we're going to kill him with the next part.
Heck yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. And be sure to tell Yardstick I said happy birthday.
I will, dude. Happy birthday to Yardstick. All right, guys. God bless. Be good. Stay safe.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with a who line for nothing. I see that we different, you riding, I double. I don't do discussions on bragging about hundreds. Don't go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely could trust it. I talked to a shorty, she bagging the bugging. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune. I'm flipping the ride. I can't be mixy when iffy the vibe. And 40 on 50 is really the time. Why are you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I don't know if you thinking I'm blind. Cross on my crosses and dot on my eyes. Done with your efforts, I'm dealing with pressures. I know it's a lesson, that's word of the wise. Dubbing the mixes, I'm mixing. I know I've been missing, I needed some personal time. All the pictures, dimensions, I don't with your digits. I mean it, I'm staying inside. Cause they got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it.